Hi, everybody. Welcome to my cat infested living room where I talk to you about long form topics and short form topics about things that currently interest me and where I share my thoughts, experiences, perhaps offer some shifts in perspective, but generally, I use this channel as a way to explore and share my own thoughts and feelings about stuff. So, if you are into that, welcome. If you're not into that, I don't know why you clicked on this video. In this video, I'm hoping it's going to be more of a short form one, but there is a question I asked myself, or I want to ask myself, and want to answer on camera. And that is, why is perhaps confusion a part of real divination? When we divine, we step onto unexplored ground, be it because we are asking questions about things we don't know the answer to, or perhaps we are asking questions of entities and intelligences that are not part of our own aura of our beings, of our higher, lower selves. And that in its own will create some sort of sense of confusion. And I think that we have maybe through again social media and the rapid fire amount of information that we are bombarded with on the daily basis been convinced that when we divine, for example, through using cards, and we do our spread and we read the cards, that the information being transmitted to us through the cards will be clear. In my experience, when you read the cards for real, and you're of course not not a professional tarot reader, when you do the reading, and it's the spread is laid out in front of you on your table, it's never as clear cut. And the more clear cut it seems, the more I would question whether what I'm seeing in the cards is a projection of what I want to be true and what I want the cards to say to me, and to what degree that reading has merit, if that makes any sense. I would expect that a reading that offers a profound spiritual experience in a form of a dialogue, either with my own psyche or with my own guides, with my higher self, or with spirits, whatever divination you practice, I would expect that a reading that has some sort of profound information to transmit to me would include a measure of confusion, because answers to questions that we seek on like the spiritual plane are never cut and dry. Those answers are not go to the place XYZ, do B and say C. You know what I mean? It's never like a literal answer to any question. It's always a bit more poetic, I would say, but generally it's never word for word literal, so that it can be clear and not include any confusion. And I think the confusion on a like if I talk about like faith and what I believe generally, I think that confusion is there for maybe two reasons. If we're talking about, like, for example, divination as communication with other beings, I think the confusion has two primary reasons, or like stems from two primary things. First is that there is, of course, a language barrier, that whatever we're communicating with is not able to give us literal answers, be it because they don't have the language for it, or because we're talking to spiritual beings who are not stuck in 3 dimensions. And what may seem like a long time for me may seem like a minute for a deity, may seem like a super long time to a plant. You know, the way I see things, as in like literally with my eyes, may differ from even how you see things. I don't know if when I tell you that something is red, you perceive the red color same as I do. That it maybe your red in your eyes looks differently than what it looks in my eyes. You know, so even that sort of thing, like subjective perception, can differ from like individual to individual. You know, maybe what lemon smells and tastes to me is objectively a completely different smell and taste than it is to you, because like all citruses taste and smell the same subjectively to everybody, even though like the subjective differences may be variedly completely different from each other. We agree that citrus is like sour, but what is the experience of sourness on a personal, subjective, like intimate level? If I were to, I don't know, go to a planet somewhere where they don't have lemons, and I would want to describe how the taste of sour feels in my mouth, maybe the equivalent of sourness to a creature somewhere like outside of the realm of my reality would not even be understanding what I mean by sour. So I'm getting into rambling, but I hope you like understand what I'm trying to explain here by this. So that's first stem of confusion possibly that can be, and that is just the difference of language and subjective experiences between the two sides of the dialogue. Secondly, the confusion also comes when we are confronted with a different perspective of what we expect from the reading. When I think about my thoughts and my feelings and my experiences and whatever inside me, I'm not confused. But sometimes when somebody else tries to explain to me their experiences, their viewpoints, their opinions, their whatever, maybe their own inner feelings can make me feel confused in terms of I don't understand what they mean. I cannot relate to the experiences and emotions that they feel in regards to a certain thing, or they, like me sometimes, are not able to explain what they mean very well to me so that I can understand. It's not a mistake on their part in terms of they are not good at explaining, but maybe to the way my brain crunches things, it is just not a very good explanation, which like happens. Yeah, that's my bane of existence. I always feel like I explain things so that nobody else can understand, but what can I do? That's why I make these videos, because it lets me work it out. So yeah, that is just a little bit of a snippet of why I think that when you are experiencing real divination on like a spiritual, esoteric level, when you are like really in the zone, I think the confusion is just a part of it. And sometimes the confusion clears up very quickly. Sometimes you need to take a couple of days to think on it and really like take it in and let it stew and marinate inside your brain. Sometimes the reading will stay confusing forever until it like finally comes to pass, or like the thing that it talks about happens, and then it's all of a sudden clear, or you're still confused. But I think working with that confusion is a big part of what we need to do as practitioners, both in terms of working through things that we have gleaned, but also being comfortable in that confusion and knowing that what is being said is being said with the intention for us to understand it in the best time, or like in the most useful way for us. That's all I have for this video. This is just a little thought snippet that I have thought up that I thought maybe would be interesting to you. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, so that you can, you know, have more later. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.